It might have been unfair because the card was just so crazy tonight, but you were getting booed a little bit, while you were working your game. Was it frustrating at all knowing that you're trying to get your case for the title shot, hearing that maybe the crowd wasn't thrilled with the performance at all times?
No, I think the crowd was pretty nice, and of course the crowd, they want the submissions and the action, and I try and my last couple of fights I was able to do, but not in this one. But I don't care, I think he is a great fighter, he is pretty tough, and he came, like I said, he came prepared. He really studied my game. He was defending well, and he's a real deal.
So just lastly for you, it looks like you've got Tyron next. Can you tell us, kind of what kind of condition you're in? How quickly you would want to fight? I know they're probably looking at a date. Tyron's resting right now. So how are you feeling, and how soon do you want to fight?
He was resting. Now I want to rest a little bit. I have a lot of things ahead. I have to go to Vegas next weekend for the retreat with the UFC. Then I have my affiliates in the United States. They all gonna fly to LA. I'm gonna give like 5 days of course for them that I give every year for all my affiliates in the United States, the Jiu-Jitsu academies. And then after that, I have a seminar in Brazil, in Florianopolis. Then after that, I'm gonna have something with my family. Then I have another seminar. So, I need a little time to recover my mind. I don't know. It just happens, and let me think a little bit.
Question for Frankie. Congrats, of course, on the win. Did anything surprise you that Yair did? It seemed like you had your game plan set, and I think I mentioned to you before the fight, it felt a little bit like that Cub Swanson fight, where you had a guy with kind of the flashy striking style, and you kind of took him down and just, did your thing. Was that kind of the idea of what you would do to him?
Yeah, we were prepared. My coaches always have me prepared, win or lose. I'm ready to go. We have people throwing those crazy kicks at me, spitting stuff as much as they can. It's really tough to prepare for a guy like that, but we brought in certain people. I've been training with Marlon Marias, Edson Barboza for the past 5 years, so it's not like I don't have guys throwing kicks at me. We just made sure we left no stone unturned and we were ready to go, and I think it showed tonight.
They talk about, poster board material before a fight, and, leading into this, Yair was talking about, fighting for the title. He's going to be a bigger star than Canelo. He's going to be the first guy to knock you out. How much of that did you hear, and did you just kind of put in the back of your head as you're, going out there and doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I hear. I try not to listen to any of that stuff, because everybody says they're going to knock me out. Everyone says they're going to do this and that, and that's the nature of the fight game. But I guess you put it in, in the back burner and let it motivate you. But everyone's going to talk a little junk.
You said to ask you this question after May 13th, so here we are. Do you find yourself, or will you find yourself down in Brazil maybe rooting a little bit for Max Holloway, considering that, I think it's a no-brainer if he wins, that you would be the next guy in line versus the Aldo fight, which is a little tougher.
I'll be there rooting for Marlon Marias fighting, his debut for the UFC. I'm not one to sit there and root for either one of those guys. They're going to have to figure it out. Sometimes when you want something so bad, it doesn't happen. So we'll let them figure it out, and then we'll cross that bridge when that happens.
And a question for Damian. Congratulations, of course, on the win.
Thank you.
Rarely do you get to, get a title shot without these kind of questions coming at you. But just right out of the gate, how do you feel you match up with Tyron Woodley?
I was watching his fight in New York against Wonderboy, and I was thinking which one I would match up better. But I didn't come to any conclusion. I saw some things in Tyron's game that I can capitalize on that I'm not gonna say right now. And in that time in Wonder Boys too, but I really I know the gaps that he has, but he's pretty dangerous. His hand is really heavy. He's short, so it's probably hard to take down, and a good wrestler. So it's a very, very hard matchup for me. But once I get there, it's 50-50, and I know that. I've been in this division. I fought in this division 12 fights, and I won 10 fights, almost all of those fights against top 15 or top 10 competitors. So I know my level, and I know I can win against anyone in this division.
After everything you went through to get here, to get your title shot, is there any party that wants to, get it booked and signed immediately? Because, George St. Pierre now doesn't have a fight. There's that rumor. Nick Diaz was a rumor for a while. Is there any party that just says, let's sign the deal immediately so there's no question I'm going to get my title shot?
No, that's something that I have no control of. So what I learned lately in my life is that, don't get so stressed with things that I don't have control. So, once I won against, I remember Gunnar Nelson. They invited me to go to watch Lawler and Condit in that time, and I was supposed to be the next, and they were recording me. I was in the front row, but then things changed, and okay, then I came and won against Matt Brown, and they said, okay, now we're gonna fight, and then no, let's fight Condit. Then I won against Condit, the former interim champion, in a very good way, and I said, okay, now we're gonna fight. And no, and finally I got this one, but I don't know, I just relax and I not put this pressure in myself anymore. And I have achieved so many good things in my life and in my career that I know I'm gonna fight for the title right now, but I'm not like crazy about that. I wanna fight for the title. I'm gonna get the title, but I'm not like I'm gonna sign this right now. I just wait, talk to Dan and talk to the UFC, and do the things the way we need to do.
Question for Frankie: if Aldo were to win at UFC 212 and those two losses seem to prevent you from getting the title shot that you've earned, would you consider pursuing return to the lightweight division? You wanted to fight Conor McGregor for the featherweight title when he was the champion. That never came to fruition. Is that something you would pursue, or would you just stay at featherweight and try to get your title shot?
I mean, if Conor McGregor fights on the table, it may be dumb not to want to fight that fight. But I'm comfortable right at 45 right now.
And as a veteran of the sport who works with so many other fighters, what was your kind of just assessment of Yair Rodriguez if you were trying to give him advice on what he needed to do to improve?
Yeah, I mean, I just think he's got to get his game more complete. He's got tons of skills in his stand-up game, and his jiu-jitsu's not bad. I mean, went for a knee bar on me too. I think just kind of the middle games, some little adjustments, and I'm sure he'll be there.
And last question for me. The crowd was expected to be very pro Yair Rodriguez, but it seemed like it was pretty 50-50 with Frankie Edgar's fans and fans of Yair Rodriguez. Were you able to kind of pick up on that throughout the fight?
Yeah, a lot of times they'll come in screaming for someone else, but I don't know. People like screaming Frankie, so I usually hear that by the end of the fight.
Damian, what's your reaction to two of the judges in the first round giving it to Masvidal? And even though you were on his back the whole round.
Yeah, for me it was weird, and I thought I won the 3 rounds, and I think most of people thought that. I don't know. I was, like you said, controlling on the time the fight. I was almost all the round in his back, and attacking from there. The last 30 seconds, he was able to turn me down and give some shots, but I didn't really feel any of those shots. I was defending myself, so I don't know how they could give this round for him, but it's always weird.
Question for Damian. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ariel.
Can't help but notice that you're wearing all black, and on Wednesday, Masvidal wore all black, saying that he was coming for your funeral. Is this your response to his attire?
I don't play this kind of game. Like Tyron said, I was stupid to take that fight, and he said, he will say always the same if he win, that he was a great fighter and he wanna fight me, and he was nice and he doesn't know how to sell fights. But I don't care. That's my personality. I'm not gonna change that. I'm not gonna sell myself just because I wanna be a champion, just because I wanna make more money. I don't sell myself. I am what I am, and I'm a role model for a lot of people and for my kids. I don't wanna just change because I'm gonna make more money this way, or gonna do something, like more people are gonna like me. I know I have a lot of fans, and it's a big mistake to try to please everybody. Like I said once in your show, I have my fans, and I'm looking for them, and I fight for them, and that's it. I not. Like I said, I'm not gonna change because people are saying. A lot of people came to me. You need to trash talk and this kind of thing. That's not me. I'm not gonna feel well. I have my principles, and I rather die than change my principles.
And not to be a Debbie Downer, but not too long ago, Frankie Edgar was told that he was going to get a title shot after beating Chad Mendes. So what makes you believe that you are actually going to get this title shot?
It's better believe, but you know what can I do? I must believe. Like I said, I came for 7 in a row, and who did that in this division? Just Wonderboy, and 10 of 12 in this division. I think was the toughest. You know, was the toughest way to pat, the toughest pat to any welterweight to get a title shot was my pat. And I'm pretty confident that what Dana said is going to happen.
Okay, and just 2 for Frankie.
Are they going to be like those kind of questions? Nah.
Well, I don't know. You didn't like those?
Nah, you know, it's always stirring the pot. I like them.
No.
I like them.
What did you say to Yair after the fight?
I said respect. I said, you're going to have a bright future, man. Keep your head up.
Okay. And I was just wondering, I mean, it was obviously very emotional to hear you talk about your friend Nick and what he's been through. And I was wondering if you had a hard time, you know, this is, in the grand scheme of things, not as important as your family, and you said you wanted to go home. Was it hard for you to kind of compartmentalize what was going on and sort of, you know, not get too emotional as you were entering this fight after hearing about something like that?
It was, you know, our whole team was kind of, you know, in the dumps a little bit, and it's tough, man. Every time I close my eyes, I just kind of thought about it, and you know, we get emotional at times. But you know, I mean, you try to do your best and focus on what you have in front of you, and luckily it turned out good. But yeah, you know, it's really I don't have words to say what I'm feeling for Nick and his family.